Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Hit the like button, subscribe, and of course, sign up to our sponsors of today, One Football. Not only are they helping our Euro dream come alive and they're giving us the opportunity to be all across Germany this summer, they are the best one-stop shop for football news, transfer stories, stats, statistics, league tables, live games, and much more. And it's all free. So scan the QR code on the screen or click on our link below to get that done. Lots of stories to talk to you about today. Branthwaite and Man United. United could be pulling away, and I'm going to tell you why I think that's a brilliant thing. Liverpool and Spurs chasing after a top defender. The Olise update, but I wanted to start with Arsenal. And there's a reason for this, because there's a player that's been linked to them for a while where it's gone very, very quiet. But all of a sudden, a report from Portugal where Gyokeres currently plays has stated that Arsenal are very close to sealing a deal. This is according to a Portuguese outlet who claim that Mikel Arteta has picked his preferred striker target and the club are now moving quickly to wrap up the signing. There is no word of a fee, but the former Coventry striker has been touted for around 50 to 60 million this summer after 43 goals and adding a further 15 assists in 50 appearances for Sporting last season. Now, I know instantly that people will say, well, who is the source? Ornstein and Fabrizio, maybe Charles Watts, they're not talking about this yet. And I understand completely. But hear me out on this. I have vivid memories of Man United being fairly advanced with Darwin Núñez, and we were. We wanted him. He was happy to come to us. The clubs were almost at an agreement. And then the Portuguese outlets, out of nowhere, started to report that Liverpool were leading the race. This was a rejected notion by people in England. Can't trust the Portuguese press. Well, why not? Turned out to be absolutely true. Within 24 to 48 hours, it was what the English press were reporting on. So for me, do I take this report as seriously as I would if I saw Ornstein say that it was advanced? No. But will I disregard it as completely impossible, not happening? Absolutely not. I will not allow almost xenophobia to kick in and go, well, I can't trust them because they're Portuguese. That would be a very weird way to behave. Foreign press get deals right often a lot earlier than the English media. We just choose not to remember it. It's very strange. Why I think there could also be an element of truth, why I think there could be is what I'm saying, is the Gyokeres situation has gone very quiet. A lot of noise around Benjamin Sesko, a lot of noise around other players, but exceedingly quiet around him after what was a very busy March, April, and early May when the media was talking about the interest that Arsenal was showing. It's all gone quiet. Could that be by design? But look, Arsenal fans, there's a few questions for you in the comment sections. Do you want Viktor Gyokeres? Do you think he's of the right standard for your club? Do you believe there is any truth in these stories? Of course, remember, the English press has pushed this notion that you could prioritize other areas over a striker. I'm very aware of it. And I know Arsenal will link to a lot of players at the moment, but that's just because Arsenal are talking to and looking at a lot of players, as are multiple other clubs. Different outlets are saying different things, but it's all about what you believe and what you think is going on. And that is what we're here to discuss as a fan channel, is the news and what our opinions on the stories are. So do us a big favor and hit the like and the share button and give us your thoughts and feelings below. Now, moving on to Stamford Bridge, it is claimed, okay, that the Standard Sport reported yesterday, and Give Me Sport have also furthered this up, that Trevoh Chalobah could be offered as part of a swap deal for Michael Olise. Remember, Chelsea have asked permission from Crystal Palace to be able to speak to Olise, which we all believe has been granted. There are a number of teams looking at him. Now, there is a release clause of £60 million, but it has been widely reported that Chelsea, amongst other clubs, are looking at other alternatives in the sense of not just looking to pay the 60 million outright cash. That's hard to do in this era. People want to be able to spread those costs or lower the upfront amounts. So looking at someone like Trevoh Chalobah, who they want to move on, is an option in this situation. And I sort of look at Crystal Palace and think to myself, well, there's a lot of talk that Gahey could be on his way out. Fulham are pushing hard to sign Chalobah. He's definitely a Premier League level centre-back. Is he good enough to make a team, be a mainstay centre-back in a team trying to win the Premier League? Probably not. But this could be a very interesting way. There is a lot of belief, although swap deals historically have been very hard, there's a belief they might become more of a play a more important role in the transfer window due to PSR and the restraints and the concerns that clubs have surrounding it. Nothing has changed as far as Chelsea's confidence, though. Chelsea have consistently reported and briefed the media that they remain highly confident that they can not only land Olise, but beat the likes of Man United, Bayern Munich, Liverpool and co. to his signature. So Chelsea fans, what do you make of this story? Do you believe there's any validity in it? How would you feel about Trevoh Chalobah leaving and going to Crystal Palace? Do you think your club should be keeping a homegrown talent like that? I'd love to get your views and your opinions in the comments section below. Now, this is an interesting one involving Tottenham and Liverpool. He says that they're in a battle for the new Sergio Ramos. Spurs and Liverpool appear to be engaged in a transfer battle for Riccardo Calafiori. Now, he had an interesting game last night. I thought he played quite well. He had the own goal. I've seen a lot of the sort of the grumpy old men that shout at clouds who don't like new players, really attack him. But I think it's crazy. He's a highly talented young man. Forget any hype that comes off the back of this player because of Euro 2024. Just go and read scouting reports from 6 months, 12 months ago, where he wasn't even linked to a Premier League club. There's a lot of talent within this individual. So I'm not surprised to see these two clubs. Chelsea have also been mentioned in this conversation as well, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. It says the Bologna defender is attracting rave reviews early in his career and already has 3 senior international caps for Italy, with some including ex-England boss Fabio Capello already dubbing him as the new Sergio Ramos. It's an Italian publications report that Spurs could jump ahead of Juve in the queue by launching a bid for Calafiori, whilst Liverpool are also now being linked to the 22-year-old. And I find this interesting. Listen, I mean, from both teams' perspectives, you would say they're both quite stacked in terms of centre-back, especially when you speak to their own fans. Spurs have, probably going to get his name wrong now. Is it Dragusin? Is that how you say it? I'm probably got it wrong. Obviously, Mickey van der Ven. They've got Romero. They highly rate all 3 of them. Where do they fit another top-rated young defender in? Liverpool, of course, Van Dijk getting to the end of his tether. You've got Konate, you've got young Kwanzaa. Maybe with Van Dijk in the twilight of his career, they're thinking about those areas. I'd like to see him in the Premier League. I don't really want to see him at a rival, but I'd like to see him in the Premier League because I think there's a player in there. He's raw, and of course he's going to make mistakes. The problem is when you know what the world's like now, the fan world, not you lot in the football terrace, but outside of it mainly. As soon as you rate a young player, there's a group of people that maybe don't like the player or don't like you, that then are looking to pick holes in that individual. And of course there's going to be holes in a 22-year-old defender. Very rarely do you get a centre-back who's perfect at 22 years of age. Can I bet if you could name me 10 that were top class by the time they were 22 years of age, I think you'd be pushing it a little bit. But I'm really intrigued to see how this plays out because typically speaking, top Italian players don't leave Italy. Typically speaking, there are exceptions, Verratti and Jorginho, but typically in my lifetime anyway, the vast majority have stayed within Serie A. Bastoni was a target at Tottenham a little while ago, couldn't get done. Barella has been on the lips of multiple teams like Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea for 2, 3, 4 summers, and the deal just never materializes. And I kind of feel that one day the dust will settle on that story and you'll hear from the player and he'll just say, it'll be very much Paul Scholes-esque at United. The only way you're going to sign me is if you buy Man United. A lot of these Italian players don't want to leave the homeland. And I understand it. It's an excellent league. It's a beautiful country. Food's amazing. And they're drenched in their own culture and they love it. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So this is an interesting one to watch to see how it plays out. Talent-wise, top quality indeed. Now, moving on to Manchester United, ESPN claimed that United will end their interest in Branthwaite if Everton are unwilling to negotiate. The Toffees are demanding at least £70 million, which United will not pay. Now, we all know how good Branthwaite is. We know about the talent of this young man. I want him as a Man United player. It's reported personal terms were agreed in principle. I love all of that. But Man United right now need to reaffirm their stance in football as a team that will not roll over and let everybody tickle their belly. That behavior, I think, also leads to players not taking our club seriously when they're here, and everybody thinks we're a little bit of a joke. I think that every single little facet of your organization is important in terms of looking like it's the best in class, looking strong, being resolute. And I want to sign this individual. Again, there's some rawness, there's some holes, but there is the potential for a very, very good centre-back in Branthwaite. There truly is. Now, he needs to be developed. He needs to be in a comfortable, good environment with a solid culture and ethos. And hopefully, Ineos can help Man United build that. If it isn't, and we remain as we have for the last 10 years, he'll flop at Man United, the same as pretty much every other single player. But it's really important that we don't overpay. It's really important. That's such an important ingredient for Man United. And sometimes in life, you have to cut a part of yourself off to grow. And as much as we want this player, and you will have the sort of love United, hate Glazer, standard FC mob that will say, well, we're not willing to pay, that sort of Glazonomics 101. And the Ineos don't want to spend money. We're not serious. I know what all the tweets are going to say. I know what all the comments are going to say. But these people are not looking beyond the end of their nose. The Glazonomics was very rarely about not spending money per se. It was about wasting money, overspending, underselling players, burning the candle at both ends, and then running out of money, and then Glazonomics kicking in when we really needed it. So we have to be prudent. We have to be sensible. Any Man United fan not recognizing this, I'm going to say it bluntly, is either a liar or a fool. So one of those two things. They either can't see it and don't want to listen, which is foolish, or they know what Man United are doing is right, but they're pretending it's not for attention. They're going to kick off and slag off their own club purely for attention. This is the right way to move. We cannot keep being bent over a barrel. We cannot keep spending 30 or 40 million pounds more on players than we think they're worth. It is an absolute ridiculous strategy. Always has been, always will be. So look, I hope we sign this player. He's top quality. But if Everton don't want to negotiate, we walk away, we move on to another transfer, and we stop this nonsense of wasting an entire summer just to pay a price we don't want to pay for a player. The pressure that then puts on that individual to perform is ridiculous. We've got to learn from our mistakes. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, I want to say thank you as ever. It's humbling. Scan the QR code and download OneFootball now. A brilliant, brilliant app. You can't go wrong with it from a footballing perspective. Until next time. Also, some great interviews on there at the moment with players as well. Some really good interviews on there. So go and check it. And you won't find them anywhere on the internet. They're exclusive to the app. So get it downloaded. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.